Hi everyone.
Hi, Hema.
Hi Jean.
So, my first time going on Facebook Live. How about you?
Yes, it's also the first time for me and it's kind of exciting and I'm actually
Oh,
it's like playing around the new gadgets here.
it is, isn't it? In fact, the technology part is sometimes a bit daunting. I'm trying to get into the Facebook screen right now because we're actually logging in from StreamYard and broadcasting live to Facebook. So let's try to do that right now. Okay.
For those of you all who are
Right.
watching us live, please comment. We are actually just trying to link our Facebook accounts as well, so just give us a moment.
Okay. I'm gonna share to my screen right now. Okay. Okay, first and foremost, hi everyone, good morning. And for those of you who are here, just say hi so I know who is around. Hi Yati, welcome. We're going to start shortly as more and more people come along, right? Hi Clement.
Yeah, hi Clement. Hi Yati. Good morning.
Who else is joining? So today we're going to talk a bit about finding pockets of happiness, right? Correct from our personal experience in the new normal. So, Hema, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Oh yeah, this is going to be interesting. Okay, so first and foremost, before we actually begin, allow us to just describe about the organizer, which is the MPPA, which is Malaysia Positive Psychology Association. It's a association that actually promotes positive psychology usage in order to bring out well-being into Malaysians as well as companies as well as societies over here. So some of you may be curious, what is this positive psychology? Something a bit different. Is it similar to psychology? There's going to be a bit of a difference over here because positive psychology here is a science of well-being or having a good life, right? It is about study of strength so that you can thrive, so that you can have a good life. It's not just about treating mental illnesses and stuff like that. It's about having satisfactory, fulfilling life. So hence we start to talk about happiness. Right. So basically, a bit to introduce on ourselves. My name is Jean. Okay. I'm the founder and trainer of Mindtrack Consulting. So I've been in the training line for the past 12 years. Prior to that, I was an engineer. So I specialize in thinking, innovation, and change related topics. And for the past 6 years, I've been training and consulting and coaching groups of people in order to bring about positive and happy culture in their workplace. So a rise in people who are having challenge, especially with regards to their mental well-being. And even in the 2017 National Mobility Survey depression. So hence, in the during the MCO, as we start to see more and more people are actually experiencing this kind of challenges, a group of us actually have decided that it's about time for us to share and socialize this idea of positivity and positive psychology into our society right now, and hence where we are right now. Okay, so how about you, Hema? Do you want to introduce a bit about yourself?
Yes, thanks, Jean, for the introduction on MPPA. Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Hema, Hema Doraisamy. I'm actually the director of My Global World Education Group. My Global World Education Group is actually an education group which manages four different schools. Mainly, our school is actually in Switzerland. And we offer business and hospitality studies for undergraduate and postgraduate students all around the world. So basically, my job is more like traveling. I travel to actually gather students from Southeast Asia region. I do student recruitment. I have also started a new project in Malaysia where we are offering MBA and DBA in Malaysia currently from our Swiss school. I'm also a lecturer by profession, so I mainly teach business related subjects for undergraduate students. My forte is actually business ethics and business environment, so I actually love teaching. Basically, I'm also from Penang, so I'm a foodie. I love traveling. I love meeting new people. So today we are actually really excited, Jean and myself, really excited to actually share with you all on our pocket of happiness and to talk a bit about our challenges and things like that. So before we begin, I'm actually going to pass the floor back to Jean to explain on our flow of program for today, and then we will begin. So back to you,
Mm-hmm.
Jean.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Hema. This is going to be a three-part conversation, I would say. So we didn't really structure exactly what we're going to talk about, right, Hema? So we just want to
Yeah,
keep
we
it
did not.
flowy as well as very spontaneous. So if there's any kind of like questions as well, a conversation piece that you would like to ask us, please put a comment onto our Facebook. We'll be glad to answer that. It's not just about us telling you what we have gone through, but also to be able to have a conversation and socialize this idea in a more practical sense. Yeah. So the structure of this so-called talk is going to be three parts. The first part is going to talk about what are the challenges that we have faced in the new normal. Okay. And then the second part is going to talk about what are some of the tools or practices that we actually apply in order for us to find that pockets of happiness. And last and not least, what are some of the blessings or good stuff that happen from this new normal. So just want to see if there is any good stuff that come up from this new normal, just to end the day, right? So
Yeah.
if that is what do you call it? Yeah. So
So yeah,
so Hema,
everyone, make your morning
so do you?
coffee, tea, Milo, whatever. Sit back and just listen to me and Jean. And yes, please comment. We would love to read your comments. And if you have anything that you guys want to share with us, you can always comment in the comment section, and we will be more than glad to talk to you guys as well. So to begin with our talk today, so maybe the
Right,
first question to will be towards Jean. So, Jean, maybe you can start with
right.
telling everyone what was the biggest challenge that you faced during the MCO period.
Okay, so I guess Hema, just to seek clarity, when you say about the MCO period, means that during when there was a complete lockdown, right? The initial phase
Yes,
of
right. When
the
there was a
of the
complete,
MCO.
exactly.
Okay. Oh, that was a period of a lot of anxiety for me, actually, to be frank, because I'm actually manage two companies, two trading companies, and we have headcounts, and that was a period whereby it was a complete darkness, and we do not know exactly what's coming ahead. And for my line of work or business, it relies a lot on face-to-face interaction. Never before, have we had the kind of confidence or conviction to come across like today to do a talk or a class online entirely. Because what we actually find is that clients don't like it. We don't our so-called ecosystem as well as regulation like HRDF do not support that so much, and various other
Mhm.
things. So it is for us for me at that point in time, it was complete darkness. And and if you remember, during the MCO, there's a lot of negativity being shared, and there's people talking about how the infection has been growing. We should stay at home, and it was a really scary time. And at that point in time, I have a couple of business friends, and some of them say that, what, Jean, we should shut down our company. I said, huh, why? They said, yeah, because there's no certainty. Maybe when it's much better, then we will hire again and stuff like that. I was thinking, oh, okay, yeah, okay, right. So there's a lot of people spreading a lot of negativity at that point in time. And I must say, some of the anxiety does creep in, despite how much positivity that you want to put in. And for me, that was to be able to so-called rally myself to look for positive opportunities in the midst of the crisis, as well as to rally my team to believe in the organization and for us to move forward. That was one of the heaviest challenges I have, because to be frank, there is no clarity and there was no certainty. And I know my business model is no longer working at that point in time. But I'm paying a massive amount of so-called salary as well as expenses despite having zero revenue. That was really hard for me. In addition, perhaps also in the midst of all these work-related kind of challenges, I also find that it is not made easy because actually I'm living with my two elderly parents. And some may argue that they are even harder to manage than kids sometimes. So yeah, there was a lot of like anxiety as well as emotions that was being expressed at that point in time. And from my perspective, I really wish that people around me would understand what kind of challenge I have to go through. So please give me that peace of mind. But at the same time, wouldn't it be a bit selfish because they too are undergoing their so-called their bottled up emotions, right? Isn't it? So to try to find a mental space and emotional space to give them emotional support at the same time, it is really hard working from home and everything. How about from you, Hema? What was your biggest challenge with the MCO?
Well, okay. The biggest challenge for me was actually a total, complete change in my lifestyle. Well,
Right.
basically, as I shared earlier, I enjoy traveling, and my school that that I'm actually working with is actually in Switzerland. So, and I used to travel so much. I used to be a person who used to travel every month, and I used to be after planes, and I just loved the adrenaline rush of catching planes after planes. And when the lockdown took place, I kid you not, Jin, I was actually supposed to travel one day before the lockdown started in Malaysia. And I still remember, like, everybody was telling me, Hema, do not
Oh
get on the
wow.
plane, do not get on the plane. There's going to be a lockdown happening soon. And when the lockdown took place and when I was not able to travel anywhere, I really, really felt like I was lost. Like I could not take it anymore. I still remember I only lasted 4 days being alone, and after that I was feeling so lonely. And for me it was worse because I was away from my family. I was in a lockdown in Kuala Lumpur, and my parents were in Penang. And you said that you had this anxiety, we're living with parents, and here I was actually looking forward to see them, and having not being able to see them and actually being away was really, really hard for me. And yeah, so I could not take it. I was feeling very lonely. I was
Right.
feeling like I was like put in a box, or and I was actually quite grateful. I was quite thankful because my business partner was actually also in a lockdown in Malaysia at that moment. So we decided to actually stay together. I moved in with his family, and it was so much better because we started cooking together, we started eating together, we started working together. So yeah, so that challenge, of not being able to go anywhere, and in terms of business as well, like because being from the education sector, like Jin, you also mentioned, everything was shut down, and some countries that we were dealing with was not able to accept online education yet at that moment. So for us to
Mm.
actually stream and tell students that, look, you have to actually move classes to online now, and guiding them, putting them on a class. And I still remember I was actually doing online lectures, and there were days where I forgot how many hours I was actually seated, and just continuing one Zoom meeting to another
Tell me
Zoom
about
meeting.
it, right? This is it, there's no clear line, right, to separate between what is work hour and what is like personal time anymore during the work from home period, right? Is it? That's really a big challenge
Exactly.
for all of us.
Exactly. There was no
Mm.
time. I mean, there was no barrier actually. So there were days where I was just getting up and just, starting work. And, Zoom actually made life, I would say, easier at that time because, we were just able to do meetings from anywhere, and people had to accept it. So I think, yeah, that was my biggest challenge. My biggest challenge was actually to adapt to this situation. There was this new normal of living, that I will not be able to travel for some time, and I'll have to be in one place and actually take the meetings and all that. And of course, at that time, my sadness was that I could not see my parents and I couldn't be with them. It was like I was really missing them. So yeah, that was my
Mm.
biggest challenge actually during the MCO period. Now, Jean, can you tell me a little bit about your challenges when, let's say, when the lockdown just eased a little bit, when we opened up a little bit?
Oh, that would be sometime in May, right? If I'm not mistaken. I must say, for a person who is talking about positivity and happiness, I was very, very skeptical and full of anxiety to go out. Partially, it's not so much for my own safety. Partially, it's because actually. One is 80 and one. I I cannot imagine the thought of like me being the one who bring potential risk to them. They, on the other hand, are very happy because they finally can go out and don't have to see each other. So, so they were very, very happy about it. It's just that, and my mom kind of like developed new habits and stuff like that. They were really, really happy. Like for me, I was like, okay, I should be more careful, more careful than them. I should advise them, don't go out to risky places, but I myself shouldn't bring extra risk to them. So I stayed home for majority period of the time, and it is taking a toll on me. I am more extroverted in nature. I love to meet up with people face to face. It gives me energy. And in the period of the
Yeah, same
lockdown,
with
it
me,
was
Jean.
really
I'm the
bad.
same as you.
Yeah, it was really bad, and I kind of like self-imposed the extra pressure on myself. I cannot like, to relate with you when you mentioned about working from home. I cannot tell the difference between my personal time and work time. And like, you have heard of Alibaba fame 996. Have you heard of that before? 996. 996 basically means is that you work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. for 6 days a week, and they kind of like they are so proud of that. But I have to share with you that I'm not sure if it's something to be proud of, but during the MCO, until the opening of the MCO, I'm working like 997. It's like 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. for 7 days a week, right? Because to be frank, I put it upon myself the pressure of being able to carry the whole company. Like, everyone is laying their trust on me and my family too, and I have to be able to carry that responsibility, and it was a heavy one. So I know no better than to work really, really hard, to study, pick up new skills, and create more innovation, create new products, to network and to do everything else that's necessary for me to be able to bring it up. So there's tremendous amount of stress, tremendous amount of anxiety whether I should go out or not. That was for me, interesting, a very surprising so-called finding for myself, because I see a lot of those extroverted people, especially when the MCO reopens, they will like zoom out immediately and see all their friends. For me, I was like cooped up in my room and my house, and that was what I did. How about for you, Hema? What's the biggest challenge during the opening of the lockdown?
All right. For me, the biggest challenge was actually, like you said, where everybody was zooming out. I was one of them, Jean. Because I really couldn't take it. I had to go out, and the first thing the first challenge was, to actually recover back the business basically, because during the lockdown, we could not do any recruitment for students, and the embassies were closed, so new students could not come in and everything. So for me, the biggest challenge was to recover back the business. So I had to do a lot of like business strategy. So I had to sit down with my business partner, remodel the business back again and see how can we actually salvage, or rather how can we actually move in incline with what's actually happening right now. Because the education sector, especially for study abroad, is it's very slow at the moment, and the borders for European market is only expected to open
Exactly.
next year, early next year. So in that case, for me, it was basically just thinking about how to salvage the business. And as you said, there was a huge burden on you to take care of the company. It was the same for me as well. We had to see whether we had to lay off staffs, whether we had to keep them, how much of salaries
Mm,
do we pay, do we go on a pay cut. So yeah, this was actually a very, very
mm,
challenging period, because um, I had to really, really put a lot of thoughts in what I was going to do, because that was the deciding period whether we move on or not. And as you shared, Jean, some of them actually wind down. I personally actually had friends who lost their jobs or even had no salary at that
exactly.
time. And it was a very, very disturbing period, actually, because there was a lot of uncertainty, as you said. We do not know what is going to happen. And there was also this fear that, is it safe? Is it fine for us to go? And is it okay to go out? And, whether we could be carriers as well. And I was just waiting, the other
Exactly.
part of it was I was just waiting to actually meet my family, like I was just waiting for them to allow interstate so that I could see my family. So again, the fear of whether we are actually
Mm,
carriers of the virus as well. So yeah, this like that part of the challenge
mm.
was basically the biggest challenge for me, was to salvage the business. So yeah, God willing, we actually managed to strategize, and we are actually now in that phase of moving forward. And Jean, so current challenges.
That's the last of the challenges, right? Because I want to go to the good stuff right now.
Yes, yes, yes.
So the last of the challenge, I guess, is the current. Yeah, Hema keep on asking me about challenge only, not non-stop.
I'm challenging you.
All right, isn't it? So let's cover the last challenge, and after we focus of happiness. I'm kind of like looking forward towards that actually. Okay, the last of the
Yes.
challenges in the and today, right? Hmm. Okay, for me, it is the reality sinking in. The reality sinking in that in the next couple of months and maybe the first 1 or 2 years right now, that there is a deep need for me to raise my game in many different ways. Hence, there's a lot of pressure because you run business as well, Hema, and some of the people in our Facebook who are working, you probably would have noticed that you work extra long hours right now. You have
Yep.
to put in extra effort. Some of your so-called teammates may not be able to be with you right now anymore, and in the end, you may have to take up more of the task, right? And that's because there is a need for higher efficiency and effectiveness right now, as the expectation from the public as well as from our clients have increased tremendously, while at the same time their budgets have shrunk a lot. So like for me, there's a huge amount of pressure and stress because clients have increased their demands and their expectation. They are willing to pay less, and and I feel it for my team. Actually, I really feel it for my team, and sometimes I couldn't put myself to delegate the task to them. I end up doing it on my own, and I know it's not really healthy thing,
Mhm.
sometimes. And there are times whereby you don't want to press further, and you start your see your stuff getting ill, and I say, oh, okay, hey, just let's give him some time, for him to recover and stuff like that. So we don't want to. It's a challenge, I guess. So from one end of the perspective is that there are responsibility to many different group of people. One on one end to the clients. On the other end is my responsibility to be able to generate the income to pay the salary for my team, right? And that is the thing that I have to balance. I think for me that was the stress, and the reality is that it's going to be sustained like this or maybe increasing in the next couple of months or even year or two. That reality, when it sinks in, I was like, oh my God, it's not going to be a sprint, it's going to be a marathon. And that is
Exactly.
that is stressful for me, right? Yeah. So that's from me. And how about for you, Hema?
Well, for me, it's actually, as I said, when the opening part came in, we had to re-strategize our business. So I think the current challenge for my company and for myself is to actually make sure that the strategy that we have come out with now, works and goes with that's the way forward. Changing and remodeling our business. So yeah, it's a little bit stressful, but thank God people have accepted online education now with they had to move on. So yeah, so in that sense, yeah,
We
God
have to
willing,
move up on
fingers
as
crossed.
well.
Yeah, so we move on. So we're accepting and adapting and moving on to it. So yeah, so and with the challenges, to those of you who are actually watching us
Finally,
live, yeah, finally, for those of you who are watching us live, do comment on your challenges and we'll look at it in a short while. Now, let's go into other best part for today. We're going to talk on our pocket of happiness. So, Jean, tell me, how did you overcome your challenges, your pocket of happiness?
okay. I can't say that I fully overcome the challenges, and I wasn't happy throughout. But I do say that I do find that pockets of happiness in the midst of that allowed me to be able to become more resilient, and to sustain, to have the extra endurance to be able to do well in the midst of all these stresses in the new normal. So I was trying to think along how should I explain, because you want to condense it in such a short period of time. So I want to relate it back to what Hannah and Johan talked about last week, which was Martin Seligman's PERMA model, right? So in order for us to have well-being or happiness, there are essentially 5 elements that we need to have. One is positive emotions, one is engagement, one is meaning, one is R, which is relationship, positive relationship. M is meaning in our life, and A is meaning in our life, and A is achievements. So I'm just going to cover maybe 3, right? Just keep it really short. I think the number one that is most important for me was meaning. And then I think I'm going to talk about relationship. And then the
Mhm.
last is achievements. All right. The first one is meaning. And sometimes what I find that is really important in the midst of crisis is not so much on what happens to us, but what meaning we put onto the experience, right? And for me, when the MCO happened, there was a lot of anxiety, and there was, in fact, I felt helpless because there are things that I want to do which I can't, right? It's not because I don't want to do, it's I can't, right? And at that period in time, I thought that it may last forever. And I know through this study that, oh, okay, that is I'm showing slight signs of like uh, mild kind of depression, because you start to see that, oh, it will last forever, this kind of problems and feelings will last forever kind of thing. So I say, oh, okay, hey, you know what, I need to work with something in my mind for me to be able to have the well-being, for me to perform the task that I need to do, to find that bits of happiness, that pockets of happiness in my life. So hence, I did in 2 ways when I talk about meaning. The first one is personal meaning, and the second one is how to bring about positive meaning to my company, to rally them towards something good. The first one is on personal. So when I talk about personal, I brought about the how important it is that I become a role model for the people in my team, and for me to be able to take this opportunity of the whole reset in our lifestyle as a positive reset for us, right? So bringing in new habits, bringing in new routines. I thought that this is a great opportunity for me to do things that I never could in the past. Previously, I didn't have the time. Now I do have a lot of time, right, with the MCO, right? So that was one. So I thought brought about the meaning that, I need to be this person who's able to lead this organization to the person who is responsible for the group of people over here, and I need to be stronger and better. So I remind myself that this is what I need to improve and make sure that I'm able to do that. That's the meaning from the personal part. And from the team part, because I do notice that a lot of anxiety. And I remember there's this one leader that I met from is a high-ranking leader from a multinational. He told me that, in change, Jin, remember to tell the truth but end in hope. Tell the truth but end in hope. So I was thinking, how can I end in hope? How can I give that glimmer of light to the people in my team? So I said that, let this challenge be the crisis that will unify us and bring us forward. Let this challenge be the thing that will unify us and bring us forward even higher. Because and that's what I did. So I said to them, but of course I need to be clear what's my strategy, and then they can fight together with me so that they know they can do something. They want to contribute, but they do not know how to contribute. So I said to them, in this period, I won't put too high an expectation because, sales, I don't expect you to be able to sell the course because you know what? We may not even be able to run the course. So I said that the only one way for us to move forward is to go virtual. So I gave I gave them 3 months. I said that, okay, in these 2 goals, the first one is that we need to be able to develop enough capacity and capability to go online, right? Develop all the skills to do training online, develop the content online. The number two is that I need to be able to make sure that even if I develop the product online, that there are buyers so that I know it is feasible for me. If it is feasible, then we can continue to even plow my own personal amount of savings into the company if I need to. I still fight for it. I need to have that confidence and they need to have that confidence. So that's why we set these 2 goals and we fight for it. And thankfully, we hit the goal as well. So that is the first part, which is the meaning. Thank you so much. The second part is relationship, positive relationship. I'm so happy when you're happy because it just echo and bring back the positive feeling towards me. The second part is relationship. In terms of relationship, I think there's also 2 types of relationship that is very important to me. One is my very personal family relationship. Another one is friends and networks, right? Which has been very supportive of me, including my clients and everyone else, right? And acquaintances. So the first one is, if you remember, I shared earlier about my mom and dad, right? And they were
Yes,
having
yes.
emotional roller coaster. And so happened that these are 2 roller coaster and they are so called colliding on each other, and I am the casualty, I would say. And at least that's the way I saw it back then. And and I had to find that space to be able to like tolerate with them and say, don't disturb me, let me go and make sure that I have bring the income to feed you and everything. So it's like I was so stressed. But suddenly, in that period of realization during the MCO, I noticed that actually it's not only about me. That what if I take this opportunity, all right, to build positive relationship with them? What if I consider what is it that caused my mom to feel restless and my dad to feel restless and nourish that? I find ways to nourish that part that they lack. And I did that. And I built stronger relationship with my mom. I stopped straight away to judge their behavior, but instead to understand where they're coming from. And when I do that, basically my mom feel a little bit more peaceful because I start to understand her. My dad felt a bit more understood. And guess what? They stopped fighting. Right?
Wow.
That's
So no
amazing.
Tom and Jerry
That is a
moment.
mir- It is. And I was surprised, and that was not a result that I expect. I was just looking at it. I didn't expect that they could mend the relationship during this period, right? And of course, the other one I really find really useful was to reach out and to reconnect with my friends, because they are the one who give me perspective. When in stress, sometimes my view can be very narrow, and they help me to expand my view. They're the one who give me the emotional and mental support. So I thought that was really, really important. And last and not least, so we've covered meaning, we've covered relationship, and the last one is achievements. In a period where basically there's not much sales that can be done, or not much business that we can do, what kind of achievements that we can have, right? But I do know that in Martin Seligman's model that this is important. So I start to look at what is it that small victories that I can have, small personal victories that I can have. So I just said, you know what, I've always wanted to work out, but I said that, but I don't have no gym. I can't go gym anymore. So I said, okay, I'm going to order those gym exercise equipment and going to create my own personal gym at home. And that's what I did. I work out 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week during the MCO. And not only that, I started intermittent fasting. And for some of you who do not know, basically it's just maybe the period of maybe 10 to 12 hours of fasting, or maybe even 14 hours of fasting, then followed by around 8 hours of period where you do have your meals. So that is actually what I did as well. And I was surprised. I'm able to use this period to reset and bring in new habits. And I was kind of happy and proud of myself, finding that pockets of achievements and joy, not only from the internal introspective meditation perspective that I like to do, but sometimes we need to act out into the world, not only inside our mind, in order to bring out the positivity and happiness. And last and not least, I think the thing that I did for personal achievement is I pick up new skills, right? Something that your organization actually provides. So pick up new skills, and I felt happy about that. And so that's basically the three things. Having finding the meaning in the midst of crisis. Number two is developing and nourishing positive relationships. And last and not least, finding personal victories, small personal victories that can somehow give me the joy to move on in the midst of adversity. Now, I've been talking for too long, I suppose. And Hema, maybe you can share a bit
No,
about
that's
what are
good.
some of
That's
the
good.
things that you think about. Oh, really? Oh, thank you so
Well,
much. Right.
Jane, well, Jane, that was very, very interesting to hear from you, actually. Well, for me, actually, well, I would like to touch on 4 points here, actually. The first thing will be accepting. So, when this whole situation of lockdown took place, I think one of the biggest things that I learned was, the pocket of happiness that I understood was you have to accept the situation. Accept it and try to
Mm,
go along with it, because when you fight it, you're not going to be able to actually move on with it. You're going to still find that you're going to go depressed, you're going to go stressed. So I think the biggest thing that I for me was to learn to accept the situation and to adjust myself accordingly to that situation and see, okay, how can I actually improve my life, and not feel so lonely and not feel that much of stress in me. So I accepted the situation and I worked along with it, I would say. And then apart from accepting was to also accept the change that was taking place, from being somebody who used to be traveling all the time, and from somebody who used to be always meeting people. As you shared, Jean, I personally also enjoy meeting people. I'm also an extrovert. I love going out and meeting my friends, meeting my agents all the time. So from not being able to actually see and feel, I had to go to Zoom meetings. So that change was hard. That change was really hard, but I had to accept it. So I accepted that change, and I worked along with it. And in terms of business as well, we brought in new strategies and we had to train our team, and we had to look for people who were actually willing to accept that change that was happening. And as I said before, online education
mm,
was a taboo before. People were not ready to actually sit down in front of the laptops in their own house to study, because they said, oh, they'll get distracted, they won't be able to do it. But today, that is that is it. That's what's happening. You have to actually do education has moved online, And I was actually watching so many things during the MCO period where, even parents were engaged with their children's education, more than the children doing the homework. I think parents were doing the homework for them, you know so, and parents
That's right.
checking on, hey, what time is your online class, what time is it, what subject do you have today? So this kind of thing. So it was accepting the new normal life, and taking that change and moving along with that change. And the next one would be
It's
adapting.
true. It's
So, when your life changes so drastically, so you adapt to how things are right now. And I was so gifted and I was so lucky because in this midst of during this MCO and during the lockdown period, I actually managed to make new friends online. And, we actually have a group of girls now, and we actually do exercise together, and we go out
Woo.
together, and we're all from different parts of the world. So, that was so exciting for me, to actually be able to make new friends, to actually locate them online, and to actually do all this sharing. Because only when we spoke out, and when we started sharing, we actually realized that so many people were actually feeling that stress and that anxiety. So being able to actually make new friends at that period was something really, really happy for me. I was always like so excited to our Zoom meetings and everything. And of course,
Mm.
MPPA as a baby. So, like Jean, when you said, how we actually formed up MPPA during the lockdown period, actually. So, I still remember when our president Sunil called me and he said, look, we're forming up this organization. And I said, yes, 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 like I'm ever ready for it, and just bring me in. And when we all gathered and we had our first Zoom meeting on MPPA, it was so nice, so how things have moved forward. Like we have members from Sabah, we have members all around KL, Penang, and it was so it's really, really exciting. That we have accepted this new normal, and we're actually adapting to it, and we're actually going forward with it. So this part of making new friends along this period was something that I personally never expected that I would actually do, because to me it's like you only travel or you go out and you can meet people, but no, I was actually able to do it just by being indoors as well. So that was good. Um, Talking on actually learning new things, like you said, Jean, you shared on how you started exercising. Well, I actually started cooking.
Yeah.
So I started cooking, and so I was actually staying with my business partner and his family. So I was making them experimenting all my new cooking skills. So I was making new dishes,
Poor thing.
and
Mm.
sorry.
Because you're experimenting on them.
Yeah, so I made them my lab mouse,
I hope it
so-called
was a
lab mouse.
successful experiment though.
No, they're still fine, and they're actually still looking forward to my cooking. So yeah, so this was the things that that I
Oh,
did, and brought forward. And so yeah, in terms of business as well, remodeling it, accepting the new normal life, and changing. So I think the two keywords was accept and change for me. Like to accept the situation rather than just sit down and complain that things are not moving. And feel bad about it and get stressed, instead of doing all the negative things, change and to be positive and try to look for that happiness out of even that situation, even that small period of time. And I still remember, although I was away from my family, um, we still had Zoom sessions together. We still connected. We had video calls together. So I was still talking to my friends. We even used to yam sing on like Zoom meet, like Zoom calls. Like from different parts. So so these kind of things. So I think, yeah, accepting and changing, like that was the pocket of happiness for me. And yeah, moving on to this new life,
mm,
because I have no idea when I'll be able to travel again, but I must say I'm actually enjoying what I'm doing right now. It For a moment, it's given me the time to actually be in one place, and do a little bit self check balance on myself as well, and see what are the things that I'm lacking and what are the things I can actually improve in myself as well. So yeah, it was a good break, I would say.
brilliant.
Right.
Brilliant.
Uh, Jean, do you
Break.
think we should look into our comments a little bit? I think there are some people who have comment.
Yeah.
So maybe we could see some of it before
Yeah.
we go to the next part.
Sounds good. Okay, let's take a look. All right. So, wow. Thanks, Hannah, for keying in some of our comments at the same time. Right. So we have wow, a lot of Yati. Hi, Clement. Okay. Hi, June.
Hi,
Good
Jane. Hi,
morning.
do. Thanks, Tuan, for joining us.
Okay, so Yati did comment. So her biggest challenge during the MCO was to control her emotion as she's staying alone, and all her
Mm-hmm.
family members are in Kedah, and so some very similar to you, Hema, isn't it? And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was
I mean,
so stressed out of the suddenness and online classes, work from home, which is totally new. Hey, isn't it so basically, some by Hema was somehow relevant to
yes,
Yati as
correct.
well. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And Hannah says positivity is being aware to restructure. And she also shared about positive emotion, engagement, relationship, meaning, as well as achievements. Okay. And let me see what else we have. June said, "Wow, finding meaning and personal victories." Yeah, I think that is important because, right, in the midst of a long marathon, whatever you do, it's important to find joy. Actually, in terms of science, right? And Hema was sharing about accepting and adapting. That's the two keywords,
And
right?
our boss is
And
also
thank you,
watching.
Sunil.
Sunil is here.
Thank you for the yes. Hi, boss. Right. Hi, boss.
Hi,
So I
President.
guess to
Oh,
just
by the way, there's
summarize again,
someone actually
Hema.
asking. No, sorry. I think, by the way, there's actually someone asking how to become a member. So I think one of our team members will be commenting in actually the chat session how to actually be a member. Uh, there's someone that has asked. I think it's Yati, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so basically, there's one thing that basically what we can do is that you can write into positive psychology my at gmail.com. Our member will be one of our secretariat will be able to get in touch with you on the process. All right, so I will type it out later on the Facebook or one from the MPPA, or someone from MPPA can actually help to type that out, and we can get you on board to see if we can into membership application as well. Okay, but meanwhile, what you guys can do is that go to the Facebook MPPA Facebook and like the page, because there will be a
Yes.
lot of new updates, and we're going to have these weekly sessions until September, I believe, and we're going to then after we're going to have bi-weekly sessions. In fact, we're going to have something very interesting where we bring in international speakers, and we have someone really famous on positive psychology to come over. And so just keep a lookout for positive updates from us by liking our MPPA page. So I really recommend you guys to go there because it is free, and you can get good tips on how do you get positive and better well-being in the midst of all this new normal, right?
Yes. So yeah, to all those who are watching, yes, please like and yeah, comment as well and join us. Join our Positive Psychology Association team. We're all about spreading positivity here. Well, so going on into the last part of our talk session today, we're gonna talk on blessings. So Jean, tell me the blessings
Mm.
that you got.
Ah, I must say that, to be frank, I totally didn't expect that there's so much positive things that happen during the new normal. In the midst of undergoing the challenge, I thought there was none. How can it be a blessing when there's so much adversity that comes to us, and so suddenly as well? Caught us off guard as it's sweeping, taking the carpet off our feet, kind of thing. So what came out from this is pretty much amazing for me. Okay, this one I didn't really thought about, but let me think. I believe there's easily two or three which are really important. I suppose number one is is friends and people I meet during the MCO period. Even like what you mentioned, Hema, the MPPA was born out of adversity during when there's lockdown. And some of the
Yes.
people, in fact, it was you at that point in time that I have not met before, and we have decided to just
Woo!
co-create this awesome uh, entity that will help so many people, and that happened during the MCO. And I do not know when it would have done if had it not for the MCO period that came about.
True.
So I thought
Very
I was
true.
like, what a blessing, that's so amazing. How could it happen when we could have, like, when we have our car and we could meet up face to face, and we couldn't, right? And in this period of time, that all of us start to congregate and to connect. People, like-minded people, start to connect and make impossible things possible. So I thought that was really, really amazing. I really love that part. That's the first part. The second type of blessing that I find really amazing in my life is how this period has been a positive reset period for me. I have never health as it is right now. I've never thought that I could have it in daily practice. If I wanted to, I could. Because they say, oh yeah, you have to drive to the gym and stuff like that. So what I did was I embedded the entire workout routine in my home. I don't have to go anywhere. In fact, I can terminate my gym membership if I want to. In fact, I should be doing it right now. I believe I still have some contractual period. But other than that, I don't think I need the gym membership anymore. Because I can put daily the benefit in terms of my mental as well as physical well-being is tremendous. So I thought that was really, really amazing. So I thought it was never going to be possible. To think about it, also another miracle was how my mom and dad developed more positive relationship during the period of MCO, during when they had the roller coaster clashing with each other, and that it brings about more positive understanding. So this adversity creates opportunity for us to understand each other a bit better. And if we are able to surmount that, the relationship will be deeper and stronger. So that's the second thing. A third thing that I feel blessed and thankful about, it is the change in my perspective. That what I thought was impossible, it is possible. For example, working from home. So I can freely tell my staff right now, yeah, feel free to work from home. If you feel like you enjoy coming back to work, please do that. And I do notice that some of them say, oh yeah, I cannot work from home. I need to come back to see you. I need to see the rest of my colleagues. Fine. But
Because
if you
it's
need
the
to work from
personal
home,
touch at the end of
let's
the
do that
day.
because
Some people like the personal
it
touch.
is.
Yeah.
It is. But it overcome my concern on trust, for example, that you know what, if I give you personal time to work from home, Hema, you may not work and you'll be just going through Netflix. But in fact,
Exactly. Yes.
what essentially happened was that all you need is good process, and the good process will enable the employees to be able to perform away from home as well, right? Of course, you need other systems and structures to be able to maintain the well-being as well. But
Mhm.
essentially, I understood that basically the new perspective is that, you know what, I can trust my employees. I can trust new kind of relationships that even though I've not met in person before. For example, like MPPA, right? It's amazing, right? It's one of those miracles that I've always looked back during the MCO and feel so thankful about. So, what about from you, Hema? What are some of the moments of gratefulness and thankfulness that you can derive from this period of debacle?
Well, actually, I was just gonna pick up the point of MPPA from you as well. I think that was one of the part that I was actually really, really blessed upon, because I feel that to be able to start something during the MCO period, and I agree with you, Jean. I think if it had not happened, maybe we would have not even met. That's the first thing for sure, and we would have not started up
Mm,
MPPA. So this gave us an opportunity to actually form up MPPA and to reach out to people who need that positivity, because so many people was going through stress, and they feel so down, and even now there are still people who are stressed and still feel down because their business is not doing well, or they're still not picking up yet, and things like that. So I think one of the blessings was to actually, yeah, to be able to do something good. I think the main thing for me was, although that people were still going through a lot of hard times during, I mean, they were having a very challenging period, to be able to do something good for the society back again, to do something good for the community as much as I can, was something that I feel so blessed upon, that I can actually still give back sometimes some of my knowledge, or some of whatever help that I can actually do for the people out there. That value that I was able to give to them, to see that small happiness in some of the families that I even went and donated and bought food for, because they could not afford during the MCO period. That sort of happiness, I would have not been able to get it from anywhere else. So that was like, to do small favors in helping those who were in need of that at that time. That happiness was really, really big for me. The next happiness was to actually feel blessed that I had people around me. During that period of time, you're so stressed and you're so emotional, and you do not know what is going to happen next, because there was so much of things that were not certain. So having positive people around me, I have to thank my parents for it. Like, they were there all throughout for me, giving me that positivity and telling me, look, just go on, don't worry, nothing will happen. And a big shout out to my business partner as well, who was there with me throughout the MCO and said, don't worry, things will pick up. Because for me, it was very, very stressful, because I just sort of like got into taking on a huge role in the company and stuff like that. And at that time, I was so stressed. So having these people around me and saying that, don't worry, things will be fine, that was a biggest blessing. My friends, my business partner, and most importantly, my parents. At all that time and all that effort they gave me, even from not being able to see each other, those messages, those phone calls, that really actually brought me forward. So those blessings. And from somebody who's always like traveling and on the move, not being able to be in one place and to spend quality time. Sometimes me and my business partner, we even hardly have time to talk to each other, but during this MCO time, we were able to sit down together and strategize and look, what are the things that we can do better. So that was actually a very big blessing for me, I would say. So I was able to do something good, to give back to the community, and the people around me that kept me going, and say that, don't worry, things will be fine. And of course, the new strategy in business, and the acceptance of my business partners or my agents, who actually was, willing to accept the idea and say, don't worry, Hema, we will actually go forward from here. That was a very big blessing for me. So that sort of gave me a good, I saw the light at the end of the tunnel. I thought like, hey, it's happening. Like, let's go on, kind of thing. So yeah, that was good. Anyway, so that's from me. And so we're almost at the end of our talk session, Jean. So maybe you want to wrap up?
Hmm. Yeah, sure. This is going a little bit faster than I thought it would be, to be
Exactly. I want to
frank.
say more, but
I thought we have ample time.
yeah.
But I want to say one thing first. When you mentioned about your mom and dad, it's something that really touched my heart, and it's something that I didn't notice, but I really feel very grateful about to them and the people, the social support, my friends as well. Because without them, I don't think I can do the big things in life. They take care of the small things. They give me that little bit of the assurance, a bit of love, and that push me so much more. I give me so much more impetus to do well. So my heart's out, and my gratitude to the people around, all my friends, my family, my mom and
Yes,
dad especially.
even from me
Yeah,
as
I
well.
can
It's
totally
actually,
relate.
I'm gonna shout out to all my friends who were there during the hard times. To my parents, to my
Mm.
family. I think to my, even to my agents, to business, to everybody who was out there. Thank you so much. You
Yeah,
guys
my
actually really
clients,
brought it through.
everyone else is really, really amazing, and
Yes.
especially right now, and we have everyone else with us. We have still quite a number of people who join us right now. So that's really,
Mm-hmm.
really amazing. So having said that, before we kind of like wrap up the entire thing, I must say that when we talk about pockets of happiness, some of us are going through challenges that, and they could not see life. And one of them one or two of them who could possibly do that, who could undergo that, could be my staff right now. And they just lost someone they cared about, someone from their family. And what essentially I want to say is that it's okay to mourn. It's not that when we talk about positive psychology that we must always be happy, happy, happy. No, not really. We do not need that so-called that layer or mask to be happy. When you have a feeling that you need to acknowledge, please do acknowledge them, to mourn, to give
Yeah.
yourself opportunity to scan for positivity, because we need to step out of our cocoon one day, so
Yeah.
that we can be because we deserve that. The people around us deserve the better part of us, and we deserve that part as well, a better life, right? So coming to the conclusion right now, we have already used up the
Yeah,
entire
our 1 hour.
hour. That's
Yes, we have used up our 1 hour.
a bit too fast, to be frank. So, last and not least, I'd just like to thank Hema for joining me here in this conversation. I would like to thank every single one of you who still log on with us and be with us for the entire 1 hour. And I hope you guys have learned a bit or two. And also, I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to share and to connect with both of you. If there's any kind of question at all, feel free to reach out to Hema or to me, or even to MPPA as well, because we are able to assist you. On top of that, basically, for some of you who are interested to know more about positive psychology here in Malaysia, I would really encourage you to go to our MPPA website, which is MPPA Facebook page, right? Go there, like it, because there will be future updates, okay, relating to more events like this next week. In fact, we're going to have one on the power of gratitude. I think that's going to be interesting by Dr. Sangeeta. I would really encourage you guys to come over to watch it. All right, at 10
Yeah.
o'clock to next week on Saturday. All right, and we in fact will have some really exciting news relating to our conference, where we are inviting external international speakers who are famed people who are really strong in this field of positive psychology here in Malaysia, live for you, right? So hence, I would really encourage everyone to come over and like our page, and hope to connect with all of you guys again in a different time, different space, maybe face to face one day. So until then, take care and have an awesome weekend, right? See you around.
Right, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jean. I had an amazing time. To everyone who was watching us live, thank you so much. As Jean said, like our page, because there's going to be more exciting events coming up from us. And I do look forward to meeting some of y'all in person soon, hopefully. And in the meantime, all the best. Stay safe,
Yes,
guys.
yes.